Hi, my name is Jeff Pagano, and welcome to the Harpin and Rugby podcast. Joining me this week is someone back for cap number 69. We'll just leave that number there. Welcome back to Mr. Mark Jackson.
Well, at least it's not 6-7. We don't have to do anything with our
There,
hands for that. But
there is
great
that
to be
indeed.
great to be back as always. Thanks.
Absolutely, and yeah, so let's crack on and turn our attention to our feature match of the week. Here is a generic 80-word summary of how things went. Ireland overpowered Scotland with 6 tries in a fast, momentum-shifting contest at the Aviva Stadium. Jamie Osborne struck early before Darcy Graham replied, but Dan Sheehan and Robert Balakoon pushed Ireland clear by half-time. Finn Russell narrowed the gap after the break, yet Ireland's bench, led by Bundyaki and Darren Murray, reasserted control. Jack Crowley added a penalty, and Tommy O'Brien finished with 2 late tries as Ireland sealed the Triple Crown and celebrated Balakoon's Rising Player Award. Now, obviously, we'll go into a little bit more detail than that. And to start off this week, Mark, we said in our preview that it was crucial to Ireland's chances that our forwards established dominance from the kickoff on Saturday. And in the end, they did, particularly in the back row, and even more particularly a certain Mr. Tadhg Beirne.
Listen, I don't want to specifically talk about one person, but listen, we can't but 5 turnovers that were officially given, but I'm sure he had his hand in many others that were there on the game. On his own, he was probably deserving of man of the match, but for some reason with this pick one of 4, he still wasn't one of the 4 guys that was up for man of the match of the game. I thought himself at the back row. If you want to split the Ireland pack into 2, the other 4 lads put in a serious shift as well, 1 to 4. But 5, 6, 7, and 8 for me were the difference in the making of an Ireland victory here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's they really had to they really had to play together. I mean, it's not that they hadn't in previous weeks. We had Jack Conan player of the match last week, and there have been some strong displays. Joe McCarthy, who may have had a dip in form, maybe going into this tournament, but definitely has come back and showed showed that he can play. And and of course we had all our deficiencies in the injuries in the front row and all. We had different players, and then we had Jeremy Lockman out for this one. So there was a lot of things missing, a lot of components missing. And it wasn't just, I mean, the breakdown was somewhere where we had to winning collisions and situations like that in open play, but there was also the set pieces, and the scrum and the lineouts were impressive enough.
It's as I spoke about 5 weeks ago now, or 6 weeks ago with the France game. You have to look at the set piece, not just at the set piece itself and winning statistics. You have to look at what we do off of that. And listen, I thought we were superb off scrum and line out, especially the line out on Saturday. I thought it laid a platform for the game. And unlike other Ireland teams over the years, especially in the Joe Schmidt era, it was Scotland who had to go through multiple phases to score tries. But I think we got into the 22 4 times in the first 20 minutes, and we scored 3 tries, and all were either strike moves or pretty low numbers in terms of rooks that were preceding the actual tries themselves. So listen, for me, as somebody who looks at that stat more so than other ones, say the efficiency in the 22 was excellent, but the amount of rooks that we didn't have to go through is massive. It really leaves players fresher for later stages in the game, which was showed in the results of the game.
Yeah, I mean, because there was always going to be a question of which defense got on top more. I mean, both sides started really well on the attack. I mean, Ireland's first attack, you had, Jamie Osborne going straight under the post, which you don't, a big game like this, you don't expect to see they made that look really easy. So you're looking, okay, that's a great start. But then Scotland came right back. Brilliant series of phases. As you say, it for their tries, it took them longer to get the tries. It wasn't just the amount of phases. I mean, Ireland had a try with a lot of phases as well, but they started from much further out. Once they got into 22, they're very impressive getting it to the line, and it was a much more efficient way of getting to the line for Ireland. And I suppose that starts in the forwards.
Yeah, listen, the decision making amongst the Ireland forwards I thought was exceptional on Saturday. And by that, it doesn't mean whether to pass or throw a dummy or whatever. It was whether to go into the ruck, when not to go into the ruck. There were certain amounts of time that we got players on our feet to make tackles, and Scotland, no matter how good they were at getting the ball to width, the width was always there in the defence, in fairness. And listen, the 2 or 3 times, especially the big moments where Beirne had turnovers, you had guys like Joe McCarthy and Josh van der Fleer putting in low chop tackles, and just that blue helmet hanging around the side of the rucks and back of the rucks, coming through the gate, not coming through the gate, whatever you want to do. But listen, he was there. He was omnipotent on Saturday, and listen, he must be an absolute nightmare to play against.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can almost, when you're watching it, especially I suppose when you watch it the second time, you can see you can see that they're picking the ruck, the right time for him to go for it. It's almost like, it's okay, it's not this one, and maybe he'll get more involved in this one, but he won't go for the post just yet. And then it's picking the right time to do it, and that's all part of it, But like you say, outside him, it was the entire pack as well. I mean, maybe we look at our front rowers as well. I mean, props in particular, because we were concerned about that. Furlong himself coming back from injury. We started with Tom O'Toole, which was something of a gamble in that he spent a lot more time on the other side of the front row, but that all worked out pretty well for us.
Listen, Tom O'Toole has come on a hell of a lot. I saw him play loose head probably a couple of years ago now, and was quite worried at that. I thought you can't just change one side to the other for a guy who's a pretty good tight head. But listen, his general play around the park has always been good. He comes from an Australian background, obviously with Irish. He is Irish, obviously, but his upbringing in Australia, his general play around the pitch is really good, and has been a real thorn in opposition sides for Ulster this season. But listen, I thought he had a great game at loosehead. His back was straight, his binding was good. He was up against a pretty good side in Xander Fagerson, and listen, our scrum was rock solid all day. And again, gave the platform for Jameson Gibson Park and Jack Crowley to run some great moves off it. But himself and I think Dan Sheehan has had a pretty quiet enough. But in the 2 big games at Twickenham and here, he showed what a class act he is. Again, line-up was very good, and Tyke Furlong's physicality in the tight really, really got better as the game went on. I thought he had his best game for Ireland for a long time.
Yeah, and I suppose just to wrap this up, I mean, we were mainly going to be talking about the back row, and you said that Beirne was it was probably deserving. We're surprised him not to even make the cut for the final 4 of the player of the match, but we should throw some love to the person who did actually get it, and it's the guy who eventually led us to the Triple Crown, Caelan Doris, who's had a good tournament as well.
There was a carry in the second half. I think he took, I want to say, 127 Scotsman out of the way. He kept carrying, but there was one, I think on our WhatsApp group, I said he carried for 69 times or something like that in a series. He was just, his work rate was exceptional. And not only that, he was allied with Jack Conan, who again had a great game. Listen, Jack Conan is just an absolute gem of a player. Never has a bad game. He's sort of a coach's dream. You can just rely on him. If he plays 6, plays 8, plays in the 20 jersey, the 19 jersey, wherever, he will do a job. And listen, he may not have played 80 minutes as he's done, but I think we've managed Josh van der Fleer's minutes very well this year. Himself and Nick Timoney have dovetailed really well together. And another game where they all had a massive impact.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, over Josh's career, he's kind of made himself integral to the Irish setup, not just in work around the breakdown, but his link play at lineouts, all that stuff. We badly needed someone to come up behind him and be able to take over, and Nick Timoney's done that very well. So yeah, it was a great display by the pack all around. It's great to see when we say in our preview, oh, we need to see this, and then comes to the Saturday. You don't always get it. Doesn't always happen, but this time it just all came together really well on the day, and it was impressive all around.
100%. Listen, the pack have delivered. Listen, 12 games under bounds against Scotland. When we have a chat in the WhatsApp group, everybody knows what the formula is going to be. Take them on up front, and let's see if the backs can do anything. But listen, that's how it went again.